Yo, what up, street dogs? Eric Kim. So, turbo thought. All right, so this one is about asking for permission. So I forgot where I read this, but I follow this ever since I was a kid, and it looks like it's worked pretty good in my life. So the basic notion is better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission, or better yet, don't ask for permission. So why do we generally ask for permission? I think we ask for permission because we're afraid of negative consequences of getting somebody angry at us, and then maybe having somebody attack you or something like that. But the truth is, the world is cruel, and if we imagine life like war, like the lion won't ask permission for the gazelle to hunt it and just eat it just a little, right? And so I feel like similarly, we shouldn't ask for permission in almost anything. And obviously there's some context where asking for permission is interesting, but this is actually what I discovered from a psychological thing. When I ask for permission, I'm actually not asking for permission. I'm telling somebody that I'm about to do something. So like even with street portraits, I'm not actually asking people if I could make a portrait of them. I'm actually informing them that, hey buddy, I'm about to take a picture of you, and you actually psychologically trick people into thinking that they have control over it, whereas they actually don't. So it's kind of like when parents talk to the kids and they're like, okay, little Jimmy, what do you want? Do you want the broccoli or the collard greens? And then Johnny goes, I hate the broccoli, or whatever it may be. And so I think in life, if we think that there's no morality or ethics or whatever, then asking for permission is essentially for suckers. Because I think a lot of people in life, also the notion of asking for permission, it's kind of a shortcut to blame somebody else for your lack of courage. So, and whether people should be responsible for their lack of courage or cowardice or whatever, I don't really think so. I think society and culture has a strong impact on the individual, and I'm just kind of lucky is that, I was born as a boy, and I was the eldest son of the eldest son in my family, and also because of Korean culture, very patriarchal society. And so ever since I was a kid, I was kind of given this insane ego boost. So that's where my personal confidence comes from. And also, I had a good mom and stuff like that. So anyways, when you ask for permission, it's gonna prevent you from ever doing anything interesting. So like even Napoleon, right? He wanted to conquer Europe, whatever. He didn't ask nobody for permission. He had to be smart, cunning, clever in order to seize power and to put forth his notions into motion. Or even Alexander the Great, right? I really do truly think that Alexander the Great, he really did think that Hellenism and Hellas was great. And what he wanted to do was, he wanted to propagate Hellenism with the rest of the world and the barbarians. And he dedicated his life to that. And, there's some quotes, I don't know if they're actually real, but Alexander was like, when you bury me with my hands open to show you that I really kept nothing for myself. He was more interested in, conquering, spreading the good news of Hellenism and so forth. So what are we to do with our lives and think about our lives? So I think whatever your life goals are, or whatever you want to create or see manifest in the world, you can't ask for permission. Like even Gandhi, right? Like even these peaceful peoples, they didn't have to ask for permission to do X, Y, and Z. They just kind of went out and did it. And you have to be a mensch, and you have to take care of the consequences and be culpable for your successes and your failures. And it's not even being about when you succeed, it's not even about praising yourself, and when you fail, it's not about blaming yourself. It's just working with reality and just trying to create the desired outcomes for whatever you desire. To see your own personal will, your willpower, whatever manifested. And so even trial and error is not about, you know, succeeding or failing. It's not about being right or wrong. And I don't even think it's about winning or losing. It's just more of like, what kind of consequences or final actions do you want to see manifested in society or the world or whatever? And so it seems that if you want to do anything great in life, don't ask for permission, and just remember to yourself, asking for permission is for suckers.